Hex is a fully digital TCG. There are owls in Hex. In fact, my Hex vanity card makes an owl, actually. Hex was in on the owl memes before we realized we were owl memes. Looks like probably Mono Blood-esque something. Braddock, the old 61 card special. This will be good. I want to see how this matchup goes. Morning, Marty. Scour the Archives isn't a terrible pickup. It's kind of awkward that we have a bunch of drop shards and don't actually have anything to play out. We can technically cast like Scour or Theorize, but like those replace themselves. So like if we don't draw like a Briny Ray or something next turn, we're going to sweet, not Mono Blood, so 2 shard. God, I fucking hate this card so much. At least we wanted to move to hand size this turn, I guess, right? You know what? I actually made a small mistake there. I should have checked to see what my opponent put into the bin with their whispers before choosing to discard, because if they would have binned a Scour there, I would have wanted to keep the Scour because it would have been active. Morning, Jub. Now we can go ahead and Theorize, and we can ditch the drop of Feral Fuel there. We actually have two of our 3 combo pieces here. We have a Painsister and a Voice of Danera. But we do need to find a... what's it called? A Blood Threshold for her at some point. What does this do? This makes me discard a card, and this deals. They discard a card at random. God, that's savage. I guess we hope to run good and just play this Conjured Candleghast off of this, because Candleghast says when we discard it, we can pay 2 and play it. What else does it do? Once per turn, sacrifice group to make it bigger? Sure. I mean, Stu, that's true of every free-to-play card game, right? Yes, Hex is free to play if you want it to be. You have to grind just like all the other free-to-play games. I feel like the people that play Hex that are like, Hex isn't free if you value your time, like haven't played other free-to-play card games. Because other free-to-play card games, God, their sequencing here is awful. So they played Primordial Cockatrice to make us discard a bunch of cards here. So I get to choose to discard this Candleghast before anything else happens here. So now I get to floop this Candleghast into play, so this Brilliant isn't even going to get to attack me now. There's my 4/4. Enjoy. Enjoy. This is my 4/4. My 4/4 is wonderful. Well, so Hex is a full trading card game, so like it's not like Hearthstone where if you put money into it, your money is just gone. You can sell back out of it later. Do I want to just play the Pain? Yeah, I'm just gonna play the Painsister out. If they want to go ahead and like spend a Hero Fall on the Painsister, then they're like not killing my Candleghast that can block this, which is nice. Yeah, we play Magic every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon. You can always check my schedule at jeffhoagland.com/gaming. Twilight Justice. What a weird amalgamation of cards. Sweet. So this card, they made me discard a card at random, and this card says whenever we discard a card, we get to deal damage to our opponent. So, ping you, or one of their troops. Looking for a blood. That is not a blood. It's one of the pretty rare times that I actually have having threshold issues. Usually the threshold base is pretty consistent in here with all the cantrips that we have. Although I suppose they did just get rid of our Theorize with their Twilight Justice trigger. Alright, let's hit this. Draw discard. It's really unfortunate. Yeah, I'm just gonna send another one upstairs. I don't have a way to discard another card, so I can't get 2 to kill this Brilliant. I kind of feel... I feel like I want to apply pressure to my opponent here, but at the same time, if they like kill this, like if I attack with this, you know, I'm just gonna attack with the Painsister, I think here, because if they want to kill the Conjured Candleghast to push this through, I think I'm fine with that because that leaves my combo piece on the table. It's a real shame we can't get Voice down because Voice would propel us to some more cards here, but one of the, you know, small inconsistencies of playing 3 shards for sure. Yep. Pressuring their health total a little bit is good because their champion power pressures their health total as well. So I'm gonna have to discard a card at random here. Maybe that attack was bad. I don't know. I don't know. Another one, gross. Blood. Briny Ray. Alright, Brinny's gonna go ahead and attack here. And he's gonna bin this Well of Innovation. Drew another Briny Ray. Alright, well, I'll just send a point upstairs. It's a real shame I haven't hit a, what's it called? Blood or a Light 'em Up, because Light 'em Up would be free value with all these discards that we keep having. They hit a Verdict, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, like they like a ZX Judgment. Because I'll likely be able to just mess our board up here. That's a Strangle, that's fine. That's gross. Probably dead. If they attack with both of these, do I want to... I think I'm just going to take the 4 here. They're at 11. Might just be able to pressure their health total out of this game. Okay, I got 4 power. Let's start with Theorize and see what we get. Alright, let's discard that. So, play this. Grab my blood. I guess we're winning this race by a small bit, right? But their verdicts make it a little bit scary. Alright, let's light them up. Does that take a turn off the clock? It doesn't, right? Because these can only be blocked by prismatic cards, yeah. So. That's a hero fall. It means we are now losing this race. We're going to 7. Well, I guess we're actually... Are we losing the race? Oh, just double hero fall, sure. Now we are certainly losing the race. Alright, dead. Yeah, but playing the Remnant, I needed to play the card out of my hand, Tom, because I was going to lose it, and I want to be able to play blood cards if I drew them, so playing the Remnant was correct. I don't think playing the Remnant was a mistake. Return to Cinder doesn't seem like it has a text box in this matchup. The Confounding Eyes and the Verdicts seem fine. I don't think this is a Scars matchup. Sabretooth didn't have anything that it hit either, right? Bring in the Iconoclasm, some Rune Binds. Actually, we'll bring in the Mordrum's Gift here. Put the Bounce gem in here. You need to bring in the Mordrum's Gift against the Hero Fall deck so you can resurrect your combo pieces. It does hit the Brilliance. I don't think that's good enough. I feel like my Briny Rays are better. I have a written article. The written article is easier to keep up with because I update that written article as things in the game change, so that article is fairly current. Talking about what some of the differences are compared to Magic. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. From Light 'em Up. Bring in one of these. Yeah, let's do this. See how it goes. I feel like if we would have hit blood earlier in that game, we probably would have had a better chance there. Missing the 3rd shard was definitely put us a little bit too far behind. Even after their mistake that they made early. It just doesn't do anything. I guess it's a keep because I have like the Theorize. It's a lot of interrupts. I boarded in 4 interrupts, but like really don't want all of them in our opening hand. Thankfully, one of the things that's really nice about this deck is because we have so much drawing and discarding, we get to like filter through our stuff. Yesterday went fine. I think I have a list that we're gonna play in Cincinnati, Milwaukee this weekend. Wherever it is, I've agreed that I'm going. I think I'm actually just gonna pass here rather than play the Theorize. I can Verdict or Confounding Eye or whatever their play is here, and then if they don't have like a Demented Whispers or something, I can just discard this Root of Cunning. Yeah, so just get that out of here. Cut it out. Stop it, you're annoying. And interrupting the first one of these means that they won't get to escalate, so the next one will also be worse. Alright, Filter Fish, sign me up. Alright, so let's discard this. So I get to discard this. So normally that's a shardless resource, so it doesn't make a color. But I can go ahead and discard it to get a Blood or a Sapphire. I'm going to go ahead and attack with this. I think I'm just going to bin this Theorize here. No Hood costume unsub. What's going on, Elwins? No second blood there is good for us. It means that my opponent will not be able to Hero Fall or Filter Fish, which is nice. It's a Remnant of Hatred. I'm gonna play this. I think I'm gonna start by looting here and see what I get before I make any decisions. Mordrum's Gift. That doesn't really accomplish anything for me, right? Nope. Another Briny Ray's okay. This allows me to block this Brilliant Analytics here, which is nice. I have Confounding Eye up to protect my things. Maybe I should have ditched the Ire instead of ditching the Verdict. Not 100% sure which is better, necessarily. Opponent's playing a bit of a bruise, so don't really have a strict sense of like what is in their deck and what isn't. So yeah, I get to go ahead and Confounding Ire this. They ended up being effectively the same card here. So if they want to attack with this, I'm going to like snap off a block here. This is an easy trade. We gained some good tempo on that exchange, right? Because like we just traded 2 2-mana cards for 2 3-mana cards on their side. I'm gonna play Blood's Favor and draw 2, discard 2, or draw 2, lose 2 health before I use my Briny Ray. Yeah, not really interested in casting Scars of War on this board state. Let's get rid of that. Let's discard this. I'll grab an extra blood because it makes my remnants better down the line. Now none of the remnants that I could draw will hurt me at this point, which is nice. Card's so offensive. Ugh. I think I'm just gonna keep the Theorize. And not just play the Theorize. Holding the Theorize makes Candleghast that I could possibly draw with it next turn better, Tom. So, like, I wasn't going to be able to play anything else out that I drew for the turn, so, like, waiting on it felt like it made sense to me. If we milled a Scour, we've not. I think I want to bin this, light him up. Yeah, I'm just going to discard the Scour to Briny Ray's trigger here, right? Because it's the same difference, basically. Painsister, sure. Yeah, the game's really sweet. The actual gameplay aspect of it is quite fantastic. It's so annoying. I can't even runebind this because they'll just hit their champion power, so my fish is probably dead. Alright, so Scour gets me any card out of my deck at this point. What do I want? I probably just want a Candlegast, honestly. I'd like to just put the Candlegast right into play. I guess I could grab this Iconoclasm. Maybe Iconoclasm could potentially let us grind through what they're doing. That's why this is in the deck. And the nice thing about Briny Ray is if you don't have a card in your hand to discard, it just straight up draws a card when it attacks, which is fantastic. So, take my freebie. So Iconoclasm is a one of in the reserves explicitly for situations like this where we're grinding. And what it does is it allows us to discard a card to create 2 random cards of the same shards as that card. We're probably going to lose the Iconoclasm to these verdicts. Yep, that's unfortunate. We should like lose our entire board and be miserable. Yep, that's unfortunate. So normally it lets us grind. I'm just going to go ahead and concede. We're not 0% to win this game, but we're pretty unlikely. Like they have 2 draws in the bank from their champion power too. So this is one of the things I'm not a huge fan of in this form. This is actually what part of the reason I took a break last time. The blood-based discard in this format is just so miserable. There's very little counterplay to it. The Cockatrice is completely impossible to interact with. So you just get completely dumpstered by it. And like even the cards like Candlegast, like you can hold them up to some degree, but like if you're holding up Candlegast and they don't play a discard, like you just don't get to use your resource, and then you get behind in tempo, and their deck's a control deck, so they're just gonna beat you into the ground. It's just there's just too much of it, basically, is the problem. Like, I feel like Demented Whispers, Withering Gaze, and Cockatrice are like all perfectly fine on their own, and maybe 2 of the 3 would be okay, like Gaze plus Whispers or Gaze plus Cockatrice would be okay, but like all 3 of them being in the format is really obnoxious. I feel like individually on a power level, if you showed me any of those, yeah, the Migraine Gem actually was, yeah, and they had Twilight Justice as well to make me discard even more cards, and like the deck I'm playing like literally plays off of discarding its own cards, and we still just got decimated by it, right? The big problem with this card is that like there's a lack of counterplay, right? Like people often talk about like what makes for good gameplay, and like good TCG gameplay, in my opinion, like has meaningful decisions on both sides of the table, and like the critical mass of discard like that shard has right now, just it removes the ability to make decisions from the opposing side of the table, which makes for like really pretty dry and uninteresting gameplay. Seems a little medium, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. If we hit a Sapphire Shard, which is our most common threshold, the Briny Ray will hopefully just filter us through our deck, which is nice. Perfect. So we get to play Feral Fuel, and then we can discard the Root of Cunning to hit a Sapphire. This is like one of those, like, what do I think is more likely to happen? Do I think I'm more likely to hit with this hand, or do I think I'm more likely to... have a better 5? And I think on the draw, this hand was definitely more likely to hit a Sapphire than I was to have a very good 5. Altar of Nilzan. Alright, so they're playing Socket. So the Sockets are kind of like a synergy style. I don't want to call them a tribe, but they're kind of a tribe, right? So the Altar of Nilzan is a card that gives my opponent some long game longevity or long game card advantage. Whenever they play one of their socketed cards, they get to draw a card. So basically all going to replace themselves. They don't have removal for my Filter Fish, though. My Filter Fish should allow us to run them down pretty quickly here. And hopefully he's going to draw a card or 2 to propel us into some more resources here. This is, again, why the drop shards are in my deck, so we can discard them to things like Briny Ray for value, turn them into real cards. So yeah, Sockets plays like a tribal. Like it's basically like, it's not a tribe in the sense of their troop types all match, but like the gameplay is like a tribe. I agree with that, Marty. Tri-shard Sockets. There's probably some sweet Tri-shard Sockets. I feel like you really have to reevaluate all the socketed cards in this format just because, what's the word I'm searching for on this? It deals combat damage. Blaze Elemental. That's gross. Shard. Tilt. So we really want to hit a non-slow shard here, but I definitely just want to like use my Briny Ray to like floop this Conjured Candleghast into play. I think if we hit a non-slow shard, which all of our shards are non-slow, so hopefully we draw a shard here and then we can play perfect. We can play this Return to Cinder. So now I actually have to make a decision. I have to choose between whether or not I want to play this and be able to Return to Cinder this turn, and whether or not I want to be able to have blood for the Voice of the Nana. I think I just want to keep playing my resources on curve here, and then hopefully between Filter Fish and Scour the Archives cantripping even, we can just find our way into more, find our way into some more blood to play the Voice at a later point. And if we don't find more blood to play the Voice at a later point, we can just loot it away with Briny or Champion Power, which is nice. So maybe I've been really lucky with my resource base in this deck so far, but this has definitely felt clunkier this morning than a lot of the times that I've played this deck recently. MC, Diligence, Flight, Swift Strike, sure. That's pretty good against Filter Fish. I think I'm going to let them try and attack with this, because if they want to, yeah, swing into my Conjured Candleghast, I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and Return to Cinder the MC here. Let's get that right on out of here. Okay, that's a Remnant. I'm going to attack with my troops first here, because if we hit a blood threshold, I want to play the Voice of the Nana. We did not hit a blood threshold, but we all did hit Well of Innovation here, and Well of Innovation is going to allow us to kind of assemble our threshold before we play the Remnant, which means the Remnant won't deal damage to us. I'm going to start with a loot here. What's going on, Sean the Saw? Yeah, I was going to play a couple I don't know, I'm not going to have a super long stream this morning, but I was planning on playing some Hex anyways, so I figured I might as well stream it. Well, I think we're winning this game in spite of our resources being a little bit awkward, so that's nice. Honestly, Klutz, and this was something I was thinking about, it might be that maybe the Jouncing Carnages should be in our reserves for the matches where we really want that effect, and maybe the Glaciates should be in our main deck, just because they're easier to cast more consistently, and then, like, just Voice as our splash. I might try that after this match. Just swap those two around. I think it's a pretty small change, but like bringing our curve down is also ideal, I think. Can't be targeted. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Primordials, this would be such a nuts modern card. Just super powerful. Wait. Can't be targeted by non-prismatic cards. Oh, right. I was like, why can't I Sabertooth that? Can't be targeted by non-prismatic cards. All right, so yeah, I mean, they're at 9, right? So we're just gonna like beat them down here. I feel like with the Conjured Candleghast, we have enough ways to block this card, but maybe I'm hitting the good side of variance there. Like we have Briny Ray and Candleghast and Sister and Voice. We just have so many ways that we could just like put shit in front of this, right? Maybe I've just been running good to feel that way. The owl costume needs to air out after yesterday, believe it or not. Needs to get a little bit of fresh air. All right, Glaciate. The Unhinged is probably fine. I don't think this is a Scars of War matchup. So when I'm reserving with this deck, a lot of the time, if I feel like I need to cut 4 of my cantrips, I cut all the Scours. But Scour's the type of card... Scour's the type of card where you either want 4 or you want 0. So when I'm trimming 2 of my cantrips, I just trim the 2 Theorize. But if I need to trim 4, I'll trim the Scours and then leave some of the Theorize. And if I need to trim like 5, like you can't go to just 3 Scour. I don't think this is a Runebind matchup. Runebind I usually bring in when my opponent has removal. Runebind is more of a protection spell now with all of the deck's abilities to like discard roots and stuff than anything else. No, I don't think Scars is good enough. I don't really know what their troop base looks like, Tom. Basically, unless I know Scars is going to be an ace, I err on the side of my Briny Rays are probably better than their troops. So like unless it's something like Candles where I know I'm gonna get like super value out of it. And like if I knew what their deck looked like, if this was a meta deck and like I knew they had 4 Warp Steel and I knew they had 4 Anna Relics and I knew they had 4 like, you know, if it hits like say more than 12 things, I'd bring Scars in. Almost at that blood shard and a little sad I didn't hit this during the hoot yesterday. Well, thank you for the 23-month resub, Immortal. Welcome back. I appreciate the almost 2 years of support. Thanks for helping me do what I do here. My bonus disconnected apparently. Hey, Dark Wonders with the 1.5 years. Welcome back. I do appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do enjoy drawing me some cards. Apparently they're actually disconnected. All right. Oh, the weights. They're gonna like come back at 30 seconds left. I don't know if they salted off or they hit an internet problem. They did disconnect right at the end of the first game, but I don't know that it was like a really salty game, right? Like they just kind of like had kind of a clunky draw and I like had 2-1s with speed. Yeah, like they just got disconnected, so well that sucks. Sorry you got bumped. No worries. Yeah, I didn't think it was a salty disconnect. I'd be surprised after that first game. It's a ghost. Get him! Spooky! Your sockets deck looks sweet, by the way. It's neat. I haven't really thought about sockets at all post gem change. And like those are cards that like the socket decks are like completely different. Yeah, look, it's got my number cut off at the bottom. If I pop it up and put it back down, does it fix it? It's so weird. It must not like my resolution. The resolution on this screen is a little strange. It's a 20, whatever double 720p is. Yeah, let's try one more. Yeah, Life SSBM. Hopefully they fix that soon here. This is a pretty easy redraw rate. There's no Sapphire. I feel like the risk to reward is just not there, especially at 6. Sounds like not exciting, but it's fine. It's got a castable Theorize. It's got 2 of our 3 shards. Okay. Voice of Donata is a good pickup here. Probably the Berry Knight deck. This is good. We're playing against some actual meta decks. I thought my experience on the ladder so far has mostly been playing against like decks that just aren't particularly good, or like are brews, or like by not particularly good I mean like they're decks that are like 66 card and 80 card decks. So I don't actually know if this deck is good or if it's competitive. I've just been having fun playing it, so I've been playing it. So we got pretty stomped by the Blood Diamond deck. So that was a little discouraging. So we'll see how this goes against. This is another combo deck in the format. The cost of the deck I'm running is obnoxious. Hex is really expensive right now, which is a little sad because the game's really fun, and I feel like I really wish they'd make efforts to make the game less expensive. I think this deck is close to $200 to buy outright. All right, so Rowdy Piper is one of their combo pieces. Rowdy replenishes the resources. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Wall of Innovation out here and grab Ruby. And I'm pretty sure I just need to kill both of these things while I have the chance here. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill this and kill this. There's a lot of solutions that you could do to improve the pricing. I'm not going to pretend to be an economist or understand the difficulties or complexities. I just know I think we would have more people playing Hex, and I would be able to get more people into Hex more easily if the game was more reasonably priced. So Rowdy keyword, good. So this actually has Rowdy too. So what Rowdy does is when you play a card that costs more than this card, the Rowdy keyword triggers, and then the cost of this goes up by 1. Yeah. Better auction house would definitely be a line in the right direction. All right, so here's a Voice of Donata. We haven't hit so we could theoretically hit the perfects here and draw both of our other 2 combo pieces. So Voice of Donata is one of our 3 combo pieces in our 3-card infinite combo. Honestly, they could just put key rares in the collector decks. I don't understand why the collector decks aren't just competitive decks. I really feel like it's a miss that they're not. I feel like they could very easily just make the collector decks just like, all right, here's a $25 deck, just like it's got a bunch of competitive cards in it. Doesn't seem particularly unreasonable to me. Draw 2. I'm gonna start with Brainy Ray and then smash with both of these. There's a non-zero chance we just die next turn, I believe. Alright, I'm gonna scour the archives here. God, that's gross. I don't know if this matchup is good or bad, but this is definitely running a little bit below average here. Honestly, one of the things, and this was something Klutz had suggested, Andrew, yeah, I assume we're just dead here at this point. This matchup's probably not very good. I probably can't play this deck anymore if I want to continue moving up the ladder. It just seems like it's probably pretty terrible against all the decks that are actually good in this format. I'll have to poke around at other things and see if anything else feels good that's competitive. Feels good and competitive. Yeah, see this card just... They get to draw cards, and for some reason it gives them their resources back. I don't know why this card has Spell Shield. I guess it's probably not good enough if it doesn't have Spell Shield, but it's really obnoxious with Spell Shields. They get to go ahead and play Consult here at some point. Oh, yeah, Andrew had an idea. This is going to be a Consult the Talons. Everything broken in Hex begins with cost reduction. All right, let's try post board when we have some interrupts. Andrew made the suggestion that they should give the ability to Cosmic Coins or Cosmic Crowns or whatever the fuck they're calling it to buy wild cards. So it kind of puts like a price ceiling on what rares and stuff can cost. Because like if you could always buy a wild card for however many Cosmic Coin type things. Is this a Conjured Candlegas out matchup? I wonder if I'm supposed to just cut these and leave this removal in. I feel like I'm not winning with mediocre beats. I don't think I'm winning through mediocre beats. I don't even think you need to lock it to the account, Klutz. I don't even think they need to be account locked. You just need more copies of cards in circulation. If they're smart, Sabretooth is never hitting anything. Maybe I want to see. I don't actually know how this match plays out. I don't know if it's because they're smart or bad if Sabretooth hits things. Genuine first time actually playing it, bub. I feel like the games I'm going to win in this matchup are going to involve small amounts of disruption into what's the word I'm searching for? It's going to involve small amounts of disruption into combo killing my opponent. I think this is a mulligan. I guess I have Scour as a cantrip. Alright, I'm going to keep it. Again, just like this reminds me why I cut a drop shard. Honestly, not playing Feral Fuel might be right. Just like four nameless drops. I've definitely found myself like charges starved a number of times with this deck. Alright, Filter Fish will be good here in a little bit. Oh, you know what? Was I supposed to just, like, try and cheese them there? I always forget about that. Maybe I should have tried to cheese them there. So, they played an ice on one, and Drop of Chaos actually lets us bury the top cards of their deck. So, like, if they kept a one-sharder with an ice, hoping to, like, the ice to fix them. Yeah, I probably should have tried to cheese them. Alright, made another shard. And again, it's a drop shard. It's like I'm never going to have a champion activation in this game, basically. I don't think I'm supposed to play the item up there. I might play my flash deck. I think my flash deck's probably okay against some of the metagame decks. Smash with this. Pipit Hustler. That's rude. Joke's on you. Filter Fish is going to get to draw another card. Alright, I think I just want to kill all of their things here. I think because they're a Consult the Talons deck, I just want to like keep their board pretty clear. I genuinely have no idea, Butterfly. Genuinely unsure. Now I feel a little bit bad that I aggressively killed the Grapes here since they played Rowdy Piper out. Let's go ahead and play this and smash. Okay, Root of Cunning's not bad. Allows me to get to voice next turn, which is nice. I get to hold Verdict up here. The Rowdy Piper's gonna let them do a lot next turn though, because this card replenishes their resources. Which is a little scary. Dollar stream was fine. It's actually set a record for viewership for my stream. The highest average concurrence I've ever had, and I think we beat my peak too. I think we peaked at almost 2,000 people, which is kind of great. Start by attacking with this. Hopefully we hit a shard here, so we can play this plus hold Verdict up. I'll take a Sabertooth. It's fine. Taking the Rowdy Piper off the table is a big deal. Maybe you're right, Bob. Maybe I am just an okay beatdown deck in this matchup. If they have 2 interrupts here, we could get into trouble. I want this fucking Piper off the table. Get him. Glaciate turns an opposing card into an ice block, which kind of puts it in a stasis state until they pay 5. Which maybe that's not good enough in this matchup. If you're playing against the deck that I'm playing, you should not board in Gravebane Vial. It doesn't really accomplish anything. Gravebane Vial doesn't disrupt our combo if we have another card in our hand. The old Sugar Rush for 1. I mean, I guess that probably means they have another one. That's an unfortunate draw for us. They have few enough resources that we might not be dead at this point, but I definitely don't feel good about what we have going on. We have another Sugar Rush here. I feel like that first Sugar Rush implied they had a second. Oh, sure. My filter fishes. Control transforms. All right. All right. Well, they don't have a lot going on here, which is good for us. That means this Voice of Danera. Runebind is an excellent draw here. They think we're on Reanimator. I guess that makes sense. The Reanimator decks were playing Voice, right? Just like, Voice is so good. I don't know if this deck is good or not, but there's definitely a 4x Voice of Danata deck in this format. That card is just fantastic. I'm going to attack for this much here. Play another Voice out. We are 1 card away from comboing at this point, but we're probably just winning in the air too. Runebind plus Glaciate just gets rid of this Mysterious Rune, right? Because if they revert a Mysterious Rune, it just goes away, right? Right? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. That being said, I get 3 looks here at my other combo piece, so let's start by doing that. God, we're unlucky. So if they thaw this ice block, it'll just go away. Yeah, and if at any point an action is in play in Hex, it just goes away, which is nice. All right, I think I'm just going ahead and I want to keep this alive since I want to draw an extra card with it next turn. So I'm just going to go ahead and crank this up to a 3/3 again. And then I'll crack them for 7 in the air here. And then next turn we'll get to draw 3 cards again. And Scour and what's it called? They're both. Yeah, they're going to learn how this works. So long, Eyes of the Heart. So we get 3 looks at 6 cards to win the game on the spot. Sweet. All right. So we had Scour the Archives and Painsister. All right. So they're dead. So discard to Scour the Archives. This deals damage. This is our combo kill. We deal damage to the opponent with the Painsister. Our light 'em ups come back to our hand, and we discard a light 'em up, deal damage to my opponent, and we can repeat this loop infinite amount of times. We're just gonna attack them in the air with flying troops here now, though. That's quicker than clicking through the combo. The Runebind was kind of whatever there, but like the actual interrupts feel okay. Maybe this isn't unwinnable. I don't know. The Sabertooths were kind of great that game, Bob. I was kind of really excited about the Sabertooths every time I drew them. And like, I could have won that game through mediocre beats, but we did also end up comboing them. I think I'm okay with how I've reserved. I think I'm content with this. If these interrupts are good and the opponent's deck is popular, which it is, maybe I just like want more verdicts in my reserves. What's going on, Brecken? I have no idea if the Hex Design team intentionally dropped this combo into their game, or if they like knew the combo was there and were like, yeah, that's fine. I don't know. At any rate, like a three card combo in like 3 different shards that requires 2 4-cost troops to be on the board, like that's not game breaking by any definition of it. Seems a little bit medium. Drawing another shard doesn't make it better. It has all of our thresholds though, and I've got like a couple key pieces of interaction, so I think it's okay. I don't know. I could see either way. What kind of labs do you teach again, Brecken? I want to say bio, but I'm just making that up and I don't actually know. So do I want to hold up Confounding Ire here? I think I do, just because my opponent could have Exalted Pathfinder this turn, although we haven't seen Exalted Pathfinder yet. I'm just going to cantrip the Scour and hopefully find some action here. Chemistry, okay. Wow, their hand must be really bad if that was the play they just made. I'm gonna play this out for Sapphire and then loot with my champion power, I think. That's a voice, that's good for us. I'm just gonna play... Do I want to hold the Confounding Ire this turn? They didn't do anything last turn, so like they didn't have shit. I'm just gonna play the Theorize. Brynny and Verdict. That's awesome. I'm gonna bin this Remnant, and then next turn I can go Nameless for a drop, play Filter Fish, filter through the drop, and like hold up Verdict / Confounding Ire. If they play something that needs to be Sabertooth, I could also Sabertooth that, plus hold up these things. I guess maybe I'm just toothing the Scrapes of Wrath so I don't get like beat down like the old naturals. Nah, that's not true. I could take a couple hits from this. I just want to get my Filter Fish going, I think. Let's get the old Filter Fish online. So again, Fishy, turn and drops into real cards. It's a real card! So 6 is where things kind of get scary here. They're Eyes of the Heart. They're, I guess Sugar Rush isn't very scary at this point. Pipit, Hustler. I kind of just want to use my resources this turn, so I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt this. It also like keeps their pressure off the table, which is nice. So next turn, I think I'm taking my Sabertooth and killing this Grapes of Wrath. Keeping their troops off the table is good. It makes their Sugar Rushes worse. That's a Runebind. That's pretty good. Runebind means I can play the Voice plus still hold up interaction, which is kind of awesome. I'm gonna shoot this down. I'm actually just gonna bin this shard here. It deals damage to me, and like I don't really need it, and we're likely to hit more resources. Right, we're actually in a pretty good spot here now, right? It feels like it at least. The games they don't have Diva, it feels like we're pretty winnable. So maybe I just need to like look for ways to like be able to kill Diva. Do I want to just Runebind this? I'm just gonna take my 1/1 out of this Runebind. So when you Runebind a card that costs X, even when they replay it, it's not gonna have X in its cost. So it effectively just 1/1s their Treacherous Search here. It feels like they're floundering, and I just want to punish them while they're floundering. Sugar Puss. Oh wait, does this card... Your card's with Rowdy in all zones. Oh wow, I did not realize that that was in all zones. That's really good. I thought it was weird when they played that while they had only one Rowdy card in play. I didn't realize it was in all zones. I think I'd rather... I think I'm actually going to bin a Voice here. I think I'm going to bin a Voice. I think I just want to keep their board clear. So I'm going to play Voice, and then I'm going to Sabertooth the Sugar Puss. Because again, their deck is just much worse while they don't have troops in play. They're down to one card in hand, so like let's just try and pressure them out of the game. I'm going to need to think on the board plan for this deck. So one of their two cards is a resource. That's good for us. That's not good for us. They could hit a series of scary draws and we could die here. Eyes of the Heart is a very messed up card. It's really obnoxious. Because they get to guaranteed draw a non-resource here. What does this do? Bury the top X. Summon a random... Alright, sure. That's actually really good for us. Because, we hadn't hit a light 'em up yet, so now we're only one combo piece away from killing our opponent here now. And like I get to draw 3 cards this turn, possibly 4. It's a Glaciate, that's a Theorize. I'm gonna start with this. It's a Painsister. Alright, so our opponent is dead. We need to go ahead and play Painsister, and then our combo is online because our opponent decided to mill us for 7 cards for some god-awful reason. I have to click here a bunch, but they are dead. So if they don't draw Diva, I feel like we can beat them. So maybe I just want to have a bunch of unhenges, or maybe Scars are supposed to come in here. I don't know. The Filterfish is really good. Yeah, yep. This is the same 3-card combo I've been playing. This is basically the only deck I've been playing on the ladder recently. Well, I think we might play something else after this. You like Dingle right now. Yeah, Dingle seems sweet, actually. Dingle seems sweet. Is Dingle better than Unhinged, though? Unhinged, like, this deck does not have problems getting elementals into play. Although if I want Unhinged, I boarded it in Unhinged and I cut my Candle Gas, so that's probably really bad. I need to just, like... I haven't actually sat down and thought about reserve plans for this deck. I've just been, like, dorking on people and, like, doing things by the seat of my pen. So, like, if I can't play the Bash this weekend, obviously, because I'm going to Milwaukee, but I think I'm going to play the Bash next weekend. So if this is a deck I might play in that, I'm going to have to sit down and, like, think about board plans. No, stop it. Look, if they don't value their time, I'm going to sit here and combo them, okay? You tell me how to have fun, Andrew. If I had multiple... I wish I had multiple item ups, because if I had multiple item ups, I'd motorboat down their entire board. Ah. I am the foremost expert on fun. Oh, baby, 73. We're so close. We're so close to being like people like Bob and Shays. Bob and Shays. Are you up here too, Andrew? Have you been winning matches of Hex? God, 73. I like the random space in here. 41. Jeez. You're so... Oh, jeez. They don't have random spaces. Limited leaderboard is so much better than the constructed. A 54 voice in my record. All right.